All right, well, hello everyone and happy Monday. It's digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching Before the Four this fine Monday afternoon, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. As always, thank you so much for watching and beginning your week here with Before the Four. Now we have quite a bit to jump into, so I say without further ado, we go ahead and start things off. And first, a Huntsville man is behind bars after allegedly traveling out of state to meet with what he thought were two teenage girls in Kentucky. Now this, according to court documents, Nathan Miles, that's who you see on screen, had been in contact with what he thought were two 14-year-olds in Crab Orchard, Kentucky. It was revealed, however, that the two 14-year-olds were a decoy. Miles had been communicating with the decoy through Facebook Messenger. Through the messages, it was determined that Miles was traveling to Kentucky to meet with what he believed to be two 14-year-old girls. He had been messaging the decoy for a month before traveling out of state on June 28th. Miles is charged with procuring or promoting use of a minor by electronic means. He was arrested and booked into the Casey County Jail on a $50,000 bond. And Kentucky officials told 48 News the investigation is still ongoing, and 48's Faith Delp will have more regarding the situation coming up in our evening newscasts. But now let's talk about the weather. We're expecting some afternoon thunderstorms to pop up across the Tennessee Valley, with storms carrying into the evening. And we're expecting more coming our way tomorrow. Let's turn over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for what to expect this week.
Oh, we've got more storms out there, as you see behind me. We're going to see more and more of these as we go through the rest of the afternoon. In fact, I think this area is going to fill in here across much of the metro area as we approach 5, 6 o'clock. We'll be talking more about that coming up at 4 o'clock. Things are pretty quiet here in Huntsville right now, but the stormy weather's hanging out south of Hartselle and around Decatur and the rest of Morgan County, down across the Bankhead National Forest. We've got some stronger thunderstorms dropping east-southeast, and we're likely going to see this continue to move in this direction here with some new development for the rest of the day. The key point here, just like the last few days, if you haven't had rain yet, your chances for rain for the rest of the day are still fairly high because you haven't had rain. It's still pretty unstable. So those boundaries will likely collide over the metro area late this afternoon, early this evening, and may see about 2 hours of rain, and then it'll rain itself out. Street flooding, the primary concern, but there will be some lightning and wind gusts around 30 miles an hour. As we head into Tuesday, more of the same over the next 3 days, 85 tomorrow, and then we warm up. When you get rid of the rain this time of year, it gets hot. Temperatures just about average for this time of year. Quick look at the 4th of July. It'll be hot with highs in the low to mid 90s, just a stray shower or storm possible. Again, we'll talk more about this and the rest of your forecast today at 4, 5, and 6.
And of course, you all know the drill. After the 6 o'clock newscast, we'll have a couple hours, and then starting at 9:30, we'll have Weather Extra. Wherever you're watching Before the 4 right now, that will be where you can watch Weather Extra. So that's Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, he'll be back here in the CTV Center, and he'll be giving you all the latest that he's seeing on the radar. So you're just not going to want to miss it. But now, a story in case you missed it. A Huntsville car dealership was hit with vandalism over the weekend. Managers at Landers McClarty Nissan are asking the question, who hates their cars? As you can see on screen, vehicles on the lot could be seen with busted windows, destroyed side view mirrors, deep scratches and cuts, and slashed tires. Bennett says police are currently looking through surveillance footage, trying to identify a suspect.
Now, I've never witnessed anything of that magnitude. It was actually pathetic. Somebody had to have some random hatred to do some of that, again, of that magnitude.
And of course, officials say if you have any information, call Huntsville Police at 256-722-7100. But now we're going to take a quick break, but coming up after the break, we'll recap a few stories in case you missed them over the weekend. Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene making an appearance in Huntsville, and attorneys in Birmingham filing a lawsuit regarding Alabama's new hemp law. It's all ahead. I'll be right back in 1 minute. All right, well, hello and welcome back to Before the Four. Now recapping a story from over the weekend, outspoken Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene made a stop in Huntsville on Saturday. She was met with hundreds of protesters who first gathered at Campus 805. 48 Savannah Sapp was there and has more.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Moms for Liberty, your hate's not welcome here, get out.
Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene causing quite the stir in Huntsville on Saturday. Organizers with Moms for Liberty held a fundraising event at Stovehouse that featured Greene as their special guest.
We have a lot of issues going on with parental rights and the protection of kids, not just in Madison County, but across the state. So while she may bring a little controversy with her, she brings a lot of awareness, and it helps parents to really step up and understand what's going on.
Counter protests began less than a mile away at Campus 805. These groups say Moms for Liberty is responsible for banning books at local public libraries and schools. Erica Foster says volunteers from the group Rainbow Trouble were here to fight back against censorship.
So we wanted to have the Marjorie Taylor Greene's book drive just to celebrate all those books people told us we need to be worried about reading.
Other protesters marched to Stovehouse where the main event was taking place, signs in hand.
And seeing, I want to say 100 people out here, it makes you feel a lot less alone. It makes you feel a lot less isolated, especially in a state like Alabama.
Emily Jones with Moms for Liberty says the commotion was not stopping their night or their event, promising faith, family, and freedom.
Our focus is 100% on our event, raising awareness on our mission, and getting more people engaged in the fight.
And also over the weekend, Savannah brought us a story regarding Alabama's new hemp law. 4 hemp companies have filed a lawsuit against Governor Kay Ivey and Attorney General Steve Marshall. They are looking for an emergency temporary restraining order to prevent the law from going into effect tomorrow. Savannah Sapp with the story.
Attorneys out of Birmingham have filed a lawsuit directed at the state on behalf of 4 Alabama businesses. This lawsuit wants a judge to weigh in on House Bill 445, which places strict rules and regulations on smokable and synthetic hemp products. The suit claims that the bill goes directly against the 2018 Farm Bill and a commerce clause in the U.S. Constitution. Trenton Garman with the Alabama Cannabis Coalition agrees.
It makes our business industry and savviness look poor, lacking intellect and lacking prudence, because it tells other states you can't even legally transport this hemp through our state.
Additionally, the suit claims that the exclusion provisions within the bill are unconstitutionally vague. It claims the bill is being enacted with little warning, with vague definitions on what hemp products even are, and doesn't give the average person a chance of understanding what's legal and what's not. This is already having an impact. One business owner in the Shoals told our news partners at the Times Daily that instead of expanding to a second store, she's now having to close down. Garman tells me he feels this could lead to business owners being arrested, but he says he doesn't see the law having a leg to stand on in court.
And eventually it should be struck down because it's vague and ambiguous, and it's contradictory even within itself.
And again, the law will go into effect starting tomorrow, and today Savannah will be following up on these lawsuits coming up in our evening newscasts. And speaking of which, let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. Following up on a shooting outside of a club in Florence, it's the second deadly shooting in the area within the last few months. 48's Aria Pons will have that situation coming up. Homelessness in Decatur. 48's Callie Neese will have more on that. And finally, updates on the big, beautiful bill. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And it is 3:50. That means it is about that time. It is time, of course, for Facebook fun and our 48 Facebook question of the day. What was your first car? And let me tell you, my first car did not last very long. It lasted about maybe 6 months, maybe 5 or 6 months, but it was a 2008 Mazda RX-8, and it was a sweet sports car, let me tell you, until it finally reached the amount of miles where it just stopped operating. I broke down on the side of the road several times, so that's usually a sign it might be time to get a new car after that. But now I am driving a 2008 Pontiac Solstice. I love that thing. It's a convertible top. It's a lot of fun to drive, but also at the same time, it is about time for an upgrade. But what I want to know is, what was your first car? And let's see what you all had to say. I'm excited. A 1972 Ford Pinto 4-speed. That was Nina Handy's first car. Very sweet there. Fellow Pontiac guy, a 91 Pontiac Firebird. Clay and Amanda Nerrell. That is awesome. I love those Firebirds. Love Pontiacs. Bobby said a 1950 Mercury. It was a stick shift, straight stick. That is an awesome first car there. Misty said a 1981 Z28 Camaro. Yes, there's just something about those older Camaros. I prefer them over the newer ones, I think, but I love the new ones as well. Jimmy Norton said a 66 Mustang. That is super sweet. Tammy said Hot Wheels, and come to think of it, yeah, those were my first cars. I had a Corvette that I took a lot of pride in. So maybe, yeah, my first car was a Corvette Hot Wheel. Susan White said a 1970 Maverick. Very, very awesome. If you're watching at home, what is, you don't even have to answer what was your first car. What is your favorite car? I would love to hear from you all. Let's see if we have a couple more comments we can shout out here. Let's see, hold on, let me take this out real quick. Looks like someone had a 1978 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Very cool there. Let's see, maybe we have time for one more. A 1982 Mercury Lynx. Very cool. And then a 1972 Chevy Nova back in 1981. That was Ricky Crawford's first car. Very nice there. I'm not seeing too many comments here on Facebook or YouTube from you all. But yeah, to everyone who left a comment on our 48 Facebook question of the day, thank you so much for commenting. It always makes my day seeing what you all have to say. But that is just about it for today's Before the Four. I'm going to let you out a little bit early this Monday afternoon, but I hope you all enjoy tonight's evening newscast. Enjoy tonight. Have a great night. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.